1914. The death-silenced words of a World War I soldier, discovered under generations of long-forgotten dust-covered possessions in the basement of his future grandchildren. His voice, from so long ago, is only heard because of his survival. His voice, brought to life with the technology of AI, would be long buried in Europe, as so many children's voices were. We bring his scribbles of war, his letters home, the poems he wrote while in the trenches of World War I, to understand that as we stand next to the abyss of World War III. 120 years in the future, it's 2025, we are sending our children to join this young boy in his nightmare. Bloody Youth. Introduction. This is a true story. The characters were all at one time alive. I give it to you, my reader, the facts as I saw them, and as they actually occurred to my fellow chums and myself. I do not try to show my ability as a writer. I have none. I do, though, ask to be excused if my grammar is not altogether correct, because the youths of 1914 to 1918 had little time to think or care about such. When the human mind and body were exposed to machines of war, cruelty, and filth, they did not trouble so very much about their English. All that they cared about was to escape death, to have their belly satisfied, and to return back home. This book begins on what I term lost youth. It was such because I was so abused in mind and body by the gods of war, that it made life so unbearable that I longed and prayed for death. And death, when the mind, the body, and the soul are at rest, was denied me. There is little need for me to introduce my characters. They lived, and you can picture them for yourself. I dedicate this book to Scotty, by short, Archibald Douglas Scott, of Kirkgate, Douglas, Lanarkshire, Scotland. I fully believe that if it were not for him and the influence he had upon me, I would be like many of the others who lie asleep in France, with not even a simple cross to mark their resting place. I, the writer, take the name of Jock, because I was better known amongst my companions and chums as such. I leave you now, to meet you again in the foregoing pages. Yours very truly, ex-prisoner of war, David L. Bissett.